Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Before we start, we are thinking about the victims at Robb Elementary School in Texas. Thoughts and prayers are with them, though I don't believe thoughts and prayers are enough anymore because this keeps happening. Also, we're dedicating the show in the memory of Ray Liotta, one of my all-time favorite actors. But we do have security here. We're keeping Soapy Pre-Op out, or whoever made the attack on the 2-year anniversary show. Though Soapy Pre-Op will be here in studio next week. So we're going to see how that goes. But my guest this week is the president of the Nashua Teachers Union, Adam Marcoux. Adam, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, pleasure to have you. We go way back to...
We do.
I don't know.
Kindergarten, first grade, Charlotte Ave.
You know?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on. Let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Nashua. From Nashua, live in Nashua. I have 3 kids and 2 of them in Nashua schools. One goes to kindergarten next year.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So I've been here all my life.
Awesome. Now, you went to Keene? Keene State?
I went to Keene. Yeah, I graduated from Keene with my teaching certification K-8 and Bachelor's of Arts in Geography, which I don't use at all. So,
yeah.
Don't tell them that, but...
Yeah. Now, getting to know you a little bit more, what are 3 things that everybody should know about you?
Well, so we went to school together, and I was talking about this with actually my partner of the game I umpired last night.
Oh, really?
So if you remember, we used to play kickball all the time, but I never played.
Yeah.
I was the umpire in elementary school. So I just entered my 26th season umpiring baseball,
awesome.
And I've been doing high school since 2005. So full circle for us.
Yeah.
Now I get paid to do it, which I thought was a funny story dating back to our elementary school years. 3 things about me. I'm an avid skier and Boston sports fans, and we'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm doing that, and I actually work at the elementary school that we went to with your mom.
Yeah.
As a pair out at Charlotte Ave. So full circle for me.
Yeah, we're 2 guys that just, I don't know about you, but I just can never leave the area. Like, I love it here.
Yeah, I do too.
So, now, stick with the theme of the show, and this is the most difficult, well, not the most interesting question I think we ask, and we get a lot of different answers, so I'm curious of yours. What does it mean to you to be an American?
So I thought that was an interesting question, but then the title of the show, and so what does it mean? It means you're registered to vote, and you vote, and if you don't vote, then I don't want to hear about you complaining about anything that's going on. Memorial Day is Monday, and it's about remembering those who served and didn't come home so we could have these debates and conversations. And, you mentioned Robb Elementary School in Texas, which strikes a nerve with me a lot when those things happen. But be able to be free to have those conversations. And then, my father served in the Navy, so Veterans Day is important in honoring those servicemen and women. But I think the big part, and again, as a teacher, is remembering to teach the history of our country, whether we're proud of it or not, in learning from our mistakes and challenges to make us better moving forward is a big part as well.
I love that answer because, you do sometimes get that answer that, well, we're great. We're wonderful. There's no problems here. We're the best. That's not really what it should be.
Well, and, I love living here. I do embarrassed at times to say that I live here. There's a lot of things that we do very well and I'm proud of, and there's other things that we need to work on. And, Robb Elementary is just another example of something that, is it preventable? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot we could do to make it harder to do.
No, I agree, and we're going to talk about it because I shared a post, and this is my honest to God opinion: is these things happen. The media goes crazy. We yell at each other on Facebook about gun rights.
Yep.
Nobody does anything. Move on. Then it happens again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I shared on Facebook this week. Yesterday, I got in the truck to bring my 8-year-old to school, and I didn't get the station changed fast enough, and then we're talking about it, and he asked questions, and he's too smart for his own good sometimes, so not telling him the truth is forget it. He knows.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him, and he's 8, and he's in 3rd grade, and he was asking how old the kids were. And I'm like, buddy, they were your age.
Yeah.
And he said to me, it's so sad their lives were cut short. And I'm like sobbing in the car, silently driving to work with him in the back, trying to, and then he goes, well, I'm not worried because I have a plan. And I'm like, what do you mean you have a plan? He goes, I'm going to book it. I go, like, why at 8 years old am I having a conversation with my son about how he's going to escape school if this happened in Nashua? And it's just, Sandy Hook hit me in a way because I was a 1st grade teacher,
Yeah.
and those were 1st graders. And this one hit me differently because they're my kids' age. You know, not that others don't impact me, but there's a few. And then we were in 9th grade when Columbine happened,
Yeah.
and that's the first one that I really remember. So nothing's changed. Something's got to. I'm not saying that I think we should throw the Second Amendment out because I don't believe that either. But we've got to do something, and I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and it's just terrifying to think, and that's hard for you because I don't have kids myself. When I was 8 years old, this is not something that ever would ever go through my mind. Honestly, when Columbine happened in '99, that's when I was like, wow, something like that could actually happen.
Yep.
And that was a high school, and high school is a little bit different. But then Sandy Hook happens in 2012, and you go, somebody's really sick enough. And now they're all sick, but I'm like, to just kill babies, to kill little kids, like, and now it's happened again. It's just, it makes you sick. It makes you mad. It just, I'm with it. You should not have to have that conversation with your child.
Well, how long ago was the Buffalo shooting? That's not even in the news anymore.
No.
You know, it falls off, and no one, we don't talk about it, and something else comes up, a new flavor of the week, and then, another one happens in Texas. I didn't know where this place in Texas was.
Yeah.
No offense to them. I didn't want to know where they were. Wasn't on my radar, and now I do. And it's just, something different needs to happen than what we're doing already.
I agree. And I don't disagree with people that say our politicians, Democrat or Republican, they feel like cowards to really go against the grain of whatever and say what they really mean and vote the way they really mean. But we'll kind of talk a little bit more about this. I know this is a very fresh topic that's just, it's hard to even wrap my brain around.
Yep. It is.
But you, like we said, you are the president of the Nashua Teachers Union. I want to talk about your teaching career in that. How did you decide that you wanted to become a teacher?
I was thinking about this last night, and I know who influenced me to become a teacher, but I can't remember a time that wasn't the goal. So I don't know when it happened, but I think of 2 people that I had as a student that I'm like, I want to be like them when I'm teaching. One of them is Jackie Mcknight. She was a 5th grade teacher at Charlotte Ave. She's a librarian there now. Okay. And then my 9th grade English teacher, Marcy Woodman. I don't know, the way they taught, it didn't feel like I was at school. I knew I was at school. I knew I was learning, and there were days it's like, what the hell's happening here? But they just had a way of making it more than school, more than learning things. They made you want to do it and want to do better when you didn't do your best. And those 2 really stick out. There was a lot more along the way, but when I think about those were the 2 really big influences.
Yeah, I didn't, and that's crazy. I didn't have either one of them, but I did always hear good things about Mrs. Mcknight. Now, how did you specifically want to do elementary? Because what was your certification? What is your certification?
My certification's K-8,
okay,
which covers elementary. Depending on where you are in the country, elementary school can go up to grade 8. Down in Nashua, we don't do it that way. But I originally was looking at U.S. history. Okay. And then I'm like, and then I ended up in elementary. And it just, fell that way for me.
Yeah. Now, there's such a difference too. Like if you were to teach middle
There's
school,
a huge difference.
like to elementary, like, did you feel like you had to make any changes when you were teaching elementary school? Because you do have to. I worked at Ledge Street for a little bit. I've worked at J Muse and stuff like that. But you might have to tie shoes once in a while and things like that.
So I started. I student taught in first grade and third grade. And then after my student teaching, the teacher who I student taught with had a baby.
Okay.
So I took over for her the rest of the year, and then I got hired at Charlotte Ave by Dr. Nelson to teach first grade. I get hired by my former principal. I'm working with all these people that were my teachers, and I'm like, what am I supposed to call you? Because I don't know. So I got hired in first grade, and one thing that I really did not want to do was tie shoes. And I told them, I tie 2 shoes a day and they're on my feet, so you got to practice. And we had books and things. Now, if they needed it tied, we were going to tie it. But, we made it a game and, teach them to tie their shoes. I used to be a stickler on zippers. Like, if you can't zip your coat, then what the heck, man? The worst zippers ever invented are on kids' clothing. They're not, like ours are nice and thick and, easy to use. These little kids are like these fine things and you need to put on glasses and a magnifying glass to lift it up. But those things that I was called mom several times. And they think it's hilarious and they start giggling. There's an adjustment with the little kids because for some of them, when I was teaching first grade, we didn't have full day kindergarten yet.
Okay.
And kindergarten isn't mandatory.
Yeah.
You have to be in school by your 6th birthday. So for some kids, they were coming to school for the first time. Some kids had a half day kindergarten and some had full day kindergarten somewhere else. So it was a wide range of crying on the first day of learning. But they catch on quick. They thrive on routine and structure. I thrive on routine and structure. So it was a perfect match of, we knew what was going to happen every day. There was no surprises. And honestly, the worst days that we had were early release days because you throw the whole schedule off. So
they're just ready. They're like, when are we getting out of here?
Yeah, well, and then lunch is different and everything's different and all sorts of. And you got to go with the punches with little kids. My room was in the front wing, on the back side of the front wing, overlooking the dumpster. Great. So every Thursday at 9:30 when the trash truck came, it was stop everything you're doing because we had to watch the dumpster get dumped. Like we hadn't seen it already, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, understandable.
Just roll with the punches with them.
I do when I did work at Ledge for a little bit. I would say the big thing too, because you say like you had kids that were never in school before and stuff like that. We had kids where you couldn't give them the building because sometimes the parent wouldn't just like, hey, go. I swear if you leave, they're just going to fall into line. And sometimes the parents have to understand that. Like, it's almost like they don't want them to go as much as, the kid doesn't want to go.
And you could start, and as I got longer in my career, you could start telling, for the most part, which kid was the oldest, what kid was the middle, what was the baby, and if they were an only.
Yeah.
By the way the parents reacted. The youngest ones were easy because the mom's like, yeah, see ya, because they'd done it already. Where the oldest, it was the first for everything in first grade. And so, parents are funny like that. But.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. You're right. The first one, they're probably like, they're not used to it yet either, and they have to adjust. Which is kind of funny there. Now, how long have you been a teacher? Now, do you still teach on top of doing your president? Okay.
No, I have full-time release to be president of the union. We have about 1,500 people between teachers, paraeducators, food service workers, and secretaries. So that's what I do every day since 2016.
Okay. So how long were you a teacher, like in the classroom for?
So I was started in 2008 teaching first grade. I did that for 3 years. And then I taught 5th grade for 5 years at Charlotte as well. And then in the interim in that part, I became a building rep for Charlotte. And then the vice president stepped down and someone said, would you be interested in taking this position? And I said, okay. And then I did that for a year, and the president retired in the middle of his term. And, you know, we have the same steps of succession that the U.S. government does. So I took over, and I've been elected. I was just reelected to my 4th term
Okay.
in April.
Yeah, because that gets me. So it's an election. Is it, how long is the election again? Or
So we have
is it
2-year
between
terms.
2-year terms.
Yeah,
Okay.
and any member in good standing can vote
Okay.
in our annual elections.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, did you have a preference? Like, so you said you went to 5th grade. Did you have a preference over? Did you like the older kids better than the younger kids, or was there a?
So this is a funny question because I left 1st grade kicking and screaming. My position got reduced, and there was an opening in 5th grade. So I wanted to stay in the building, so I took it. So I went from one extreme to the other in the school. And people give me a hard time about this because at one point they reduced 5th grade from 4 teachers to 3, and I was the low man on the totem pole. And there was an opening in 1st grade and 4th grade, and I thought about going back to 1st. And then I went to their little step-up thing in June. I'm like, oh, no, I can't go back. But I left kicking and screaming. So when people ask you, well, what's your favorite?
Yeah.
I really think it's whatever I'm in at the time.
Okay.
Because I did 3rd grade for a year, and I loved that. And I loved the 1st grade because they're just, it's a different, they're 6, they're excited. 5th grade, they're still excited, but not as much.
Yeah.
They're transitioning to middle school. The hormones kick in. So, but I love that too. You make the best of whatever you're in. So, if I had to go back to tomorrow and it was in 2nd grade, in 3 years, I'd probably say that was my favorite. So I don't know.
Okay. That makes sense because when people like think about elementary school, it's not. There really is so much difference between those grades. Mm-hmm. Like even 1st grade to 2nd grade, like
it's huge.
This is where they're developing. Like, it's crazy to see like kids go from I'd worked in the schools for a while to watch them go from 1st grade to get to 5th grade and see what a change becomes in them.
Yep.
So, so you've kind of got to why you decided to be the president of the Teachers Union. Was that something you ever thought would ever happen?
Never. No, my thought about it started when probably while I was a building rep. I'm like, oh, that's something I might consider doing down the road. But I was happy teaching, and then the vice president stepped down, and I took over for her. And then I'm like, yeah, our president was a retired teacher. But he was still in his term, and I'm like, well, maybe when Bob retires, I'd consider running, but never really. And then he retired midterm, and I didn't have a choice. And I'm like, well, here I am, and it's been an adventure.
Yeah.
There's something new and different all the time, which is why I love it. Like every other job, though, there are days I'm like, what am I doing? And I tell the membership this all the time. I go, there's days I go, I got to find something else to do.
Yeah.
But I said that teaching, too. There are days it's just, you have those days. But then there are moments when it's really exciting and rejuvenates you. And with a school, it was a kid who you've been working with and wasn't getting. And then finally the light bulb goes on and they get it. With my job, I don't work directly with the kids anymore, but I get to sign a lot of checks that go to these organizations that really help our kids and our teachers and our staff. And that's a rewarding part of my job is attending these events and handing over money, which I love to do because I know where it's going. It's not going to some corporation. It's going to the Nashua Boys and Girls Club. It's going to the Nashua Soup Kitchen. It's going to the New Hampshire Toys for Tots drive. It's not, I'm writing a check off to, some zip code in California where I'll never know where it's happening. I can see it actively working for me, which is great.
Well, I love that because you're definitely a big piece of the community. Were you like the youngest person to get? Because I do think like back when I heard, because you said 2016.
Yeah.
So we're the same age. You're about 31 at that point. Is it just me that just doesn't have perception of things, or were you a young president to get to that level?
I don't know 100%.
Okay.
But thinking back on, I know who other presidents were. I am on the younger side when I started. I don't know if I was the youngest to serve, but I am definitely one of the younger ones to serve, which I think at times might have been a detriment to me, because people see this young kid who doesn't know what he's doing. But now I've grayed over and the beard.
I hear you. I hear you.
They just
That's why I
think
gotta
I'm
have
old. So, but yeah, I definitely think I was one of the youngest to serve. So
Okay. No, awesome. Now, what is the toughest part of the job?
depends on the day. We just came through very challenging teacher negotiations.
Okay.
And some of those, trying to come to an agreement that everyone's happy with, but in negotiations, you never get everything that you want. And as soon as you accept that, it becomes easier. But what is something that you can bring to the membership that meets the goals that you set to start negotiations and will be agreeable to the 1,000+ members that are voting on that contract? So that's negotiating the contracts I love doing, but it's a challenge because, it's not just you're fighting for, it's everyone that's with you. Some of our personnel issues, those can be challenging because sometimes you have to tell a person, this might not be the right career for you, or I'm sorry you have to turn in your badge and your keys.
Wow.
Thank God those are far few in between.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that's what I do every day is deal with those type of things. We don't. We're very lucky in Nashua, and I fully admit that I'm biased. We have a great teaching and support staff in this district. But, you asked challenging things, and when we do deal with those things, which are, again, far and few in between, it's hard to tell someone that it's time to move on.
Because I think teacher burnout has to be a very real thing.
Between, the pandemic, changes in society, and then, these shooting incidents, we're losing people, and we can't replace them fast enough.
Yeah.
Enrollment in these ed prep courses and degree programs is dropping. So where are we going to find these people? Plus some of the legislation out there is not always teacher or school friendly. And people take it personally. It's their livelihood, it's their job, they're proud of their profession. And people are making judgments that have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. You kind of talked about it just a little bit, but what's the most rewarding part of the job?
The most rewarding part, my favorite part, we do Toys for Tots every year. And all the toys come to my office, and we set them up, and we get to drive them to the place. And just the generosity from the membership to do that. A lot of schools do their own thing. So there's that part. This year, AFT, which is our national union, started Reading Opens the Doors to the World program. So in the fall, I had 3,500 books delivered to hand out. They did a children's vaccine clinic at Elm Street, and we literally got to hand out 3,500 books. Just, here you go. And watching kids get to pick books first that they wanted, and then, well, how much is it? No, you can, the joy on their faces, handing out those books. We did something similar when Nashua goes back to school event at the library in Nashua, handing out books. We came with 5,000 books, and I didn't leave with a single book.
Oh, wow.
We just and parents were like, well, these are free. Yeah, this is, we want kids, we're able to get a variety of books from the smallest baby, those board books, all the way up through high school, and kids picking what they want to do, to read is, watching that. I love the community events that we are able to participate in. We support End 68 Hours of Hunger in Nashua, which is a program that feeds kids from the end of lunch on Friday till breakfast on Monday. So there's about 68 hours. That's where the name comes from. And actually, it's moved nationally to different places, but started out on the seacoast. So it's a New Hampshire grown thing. So what we did this year, we typically donate between $2,000 and $5,000, depending on the year. We did a match. And I said, for every dollar the public donates, whoever you are, we'll match it up to $2,500. And we got the match and more. So we matched the little extra, and we're able to give them a check. And that kind of money will cover a vacation week, because they'll send enough stuff home for kids for the 9 days between, like during April and February vacations. So those are my favorite parts. I run board meetings and those are fine, but things that directly impact our students, those are the best part of my job.
Very nice. I love to hear that stuff. That's awesome. Because I always was like, I don't think, and maybe no kid should be indebted for like school lunch. Like that's always been something crazy to me. That's like, come on.
So we were having that problem, and kids at the high school, they created a program called Meals Matter.
Okay.
And they were paying off the debts of students in the district who had owed money to food service, and we were supporting them for a time. And then kids at the high school, there was a card. If you needed it, you just got the number. No one knew who you were. No questions. You just type it in. Because we do have free and reduced lunch options.
Yeah.
But when you miss the cutoff by $1,
yeah,
for example, and I know that could be a dramatic thing, and I like to be dramatic at times, but if you miss the cutoff by $1, you still don't have enough money to buy lunch.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do? So during COVID, actually, breakfast and lunch has been free to any student who wants it, and districts get reimbursed for every meal they serve. It wasn't expected to come back for next school year, but now with the budget at the federal level, we're not sure, but it really helped a lot because it was for everyone. No one knew. So hopefully that will come back, but if not, we're fortunate to have great kids who run organizations that want to help other kids, and we're proud to support them financially.
Awesome. Oh, that's good stuff, and that's great to hear. Like I said, we go way back. I'm so proud of you, as someone that, you grew up with, that you're doing huge things. So we did talk about the school shooting stuff a little bit, and again, so painful. Is there anything you would say to parents to just say, I don't know if there's anything you can say to say you're 100% safe, but what would you say to parents if you could say something?
I'm a parent, and I struggle with what to say to my own children as a teacher, as a union leader. You have to be honest, because when they're going to find out eventually, and that's the worst thing, is to your kid, you lied to them. There are a lot of supports out there, whether it's your own school counselor. There were some national organizations that were posting things on how to talk to kids about things. Our own organization through AFT, we have a thing called Share My Lesson. It's free to everyone, even if you're not an AFT or NEA member, and it has different lesson plans and stuff on how to deal with it as an educator. But I'm sure as a parent, you could look at that and tune it to what your kid can handle. But it all comes back to, what can your kid handle?
Yeah.
Right? You know your kid better than we do. What can they handle with it? And if you need help with it, get help for it. And don't ignore it. because for some kids, they're going to perseverate on it.
Yeah.
And, it's not like I try to shield my kids from everything, but we don't watch the news with them. I don't like, it's just, he's 8. Like,
Yeah.
why am I having this conversation with him about where he's going to go when it happens at his school? So, reach out for those resources if you need help talking about it, because there are a lot of resources out there on how to address it with your children.
All right. Awesome. Well, let's talk about something a little bit more fun here.
All right.
Let's get into sports. What do you is it looking at the Celtics are gonna do this? What do you think?
The Celtics, I'm not a big basketball guy.
Yeah.
I'm a baseball and football guy. But I do follow the Celtics. I get the breaking news alerts from ESPN. I just saw the injury report on who's questionable for tomorrow night's game. And this series is irritating because it's like, oh, tonight you go up by 25 and we'll just pack it in. Oh, no, it's your turn. Like, I don't get it. There's no, you don't see that in baseball or football, really. And football is a lot different because it's one and done, where this is 7 games. And I don't know. It's just, I listen to 98.5 The Sports Hub, and they talk about, oh, well, this referee crew's coming in tonight. I'm thinking, put the freaking whistle away. Let's just be done with it. But, basketball is not what it used to be. Oh, I have broken a nail. I'm out for 7 weeks. Or oh, he breathed on me the wrong way. Oh, that's a foul. I don't know. It's, if they win, they win. I don't know. It's, you never know. I was watching Saturday night, and I shut it off because it was 11-2 or something ridiculous. I'm like, I made it to halftime and I went to bed. It's not a football. I would never shut it off. I didn't shut it off during the 28-3 game.
Yeah.
I was depressed, and then I'm like, what's happening? And the pendulum going back and forth of whether I should be upset or scared or worried or what. But I don't know.
I'm hoping, I'm with you though. I've always been a Celtics fan. Over the years, even the Red Sox and Celtics, I haven't been as diehard as I used to be. I don't miss anything. As I've gotten older, it's just so much, easier just watching the Patriots because once a week.
Once a week. I don't have time to watch 162 baseball games at 4 hours apiece.
Yeah.
And it's get the ball back, lick my fingers, walk around the thing, tip my hat, pick my nose, and throw a pitch. It's, half an hour later, we're in the second inning. It's like, I got 3 kids. It's in my full-time job, and I have a wife, and it's, you don't have who's time for 162 games.
No, it's just not possible.
I watch the box score. And the thing with baseball is you turn it on, you can do 100 other things while the game's on, and you're not going to miss anything.
Yeah. It's like background noise almost.
Almost like it's still a great game to listen to on the radio because the dimensions are there, and you can the way and we've been lucky with our radio broadcasters and for the Red Sox over the years, but I cannot dedicate that kind of time. Playoffs, yes, I'm there.
Yes.
I'm there for you, but not in the regular season.
But even playoff games, I've found as I got older, like I said, football, it's that once a week thing. It's like a big event. I can miss game 2 of a series and not be like, all right, I missed game 2,
Football, it's religious. No matter, I watch every Patriots game, and my wife hates this. I try to watch the 1, the 4, the Sunday night and the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Thursday night football, it depends on who's playing, but it's typically trash.
Yeah.
And I am a fan of the London games.
Okay.
But not when the Patriots go over there. But there's nothing. 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday. Let's go football. Here we go.
Yeah. Start the day off right.
Right.
No, I'm with you, and I've gotten we talked about it. Go Free Jacks. They're 12-2. I've been really into the Major League Rugby this year because it's again like the Patriots. It's once a week thing. I played in college, so I just love watching it. But any predictions for Mac Jones this year? We're gonna see even better Mac Jones? Or?
No, we're not. You know why? Because Bill Belichick's an idiot. Yes, I said that wherever I'm supposed to look at the camera.
Yeah.
Who is in charge of the offense? And it cannot be Matt Patricia because his defense was a disaster when he left. And Joe Judge, he did not do very well in New York. So I'd like to know who's in charge of the offense because offense by committee with a second-year quarterback, forget it. And who's he throwing the ball to?
Yeah, there's some issues there. Yeah.
Like, we were spoiled. I know we were. Since 2001, we have been spoiled with the Patriots. I remember them losing to the Green Bay Packers in '96 in that Super Bowl with Bill Parcells and Drew Bledsoe, and then Bledsoe went down and Brady, and we thought that was the end, and then Brady got hurt in the playoff game, and what was happening. But I don't know. Like, it's in Bill we trust, but I don't know how much I can the more that comes out with the Tom Brady disaster and all, I don't know. We've enjoyed the ride, and I should just be grateful for that. But I'm not. I got 9-8 and 8-9.
Okay.
I don't have them making the playoffs. I don't. Not with Buffalo. Not with Miami.
I know they've all gotten better now,
and we've not. I think we're worse than we were last year.
Yeah, and we're gonna see. I'm excited to see. I really like Mac Jones.
I did. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for him.
Yeah.
And what he could do, but who's coaching him?
Yeah.
I thought losing Josh McDaniels was a big blow to his development. I know Hoyer's there, and he's been in the offense for a long time. Didn't play much, but at least he knows it. I'd like to see him take more responsibility for it, but he's still on the roster. So
yeah, we're gonna see. I'm excited though. I'm always gonna be excited no matter what. Now, we have been spoiled. You're right. So if things go off the rails, it might be hard to handle. But do you have any favorite sports moments? Like any of your top favorite sports moments? I know we've had a lot.
That is a loaded question. The overtime touchdown, the 28-3 saga game. I jumped so high out of I was in a sitting position in my chair, and they signaled the touchdown, and I hit my head on the ceiling. I was so that game was just something that I will never ever forget. Obviously, the 2004 World Series, that's got to be up there.
I would say when we were kids, I didn't think it ever actually happened.
No, because after 2003's debacle with Brett Boone home run and keeping Pedro in and Grady Little getting fired, I thought that was it. We're done. And then they come around in 2004 and win. And then watching it in 2007 again, I'm like, what? What is happening? We were the Patriots. We were spoiled with that. But I had grown up as a baseball fan. Back in the day when TBS had the Braves on, they were my National League team, and the Red Sox. And, and when they went to, in '99, they had the All-Star game, and they beat Cleveland. But, I never thought we were going to get over that.
Yeah.
We always seemed to be behind the Yankees with everything. And then we finally, that series to get to the World Series in 2004 with Dave Roberts stealing second was just insane. So, some of the big ones. Obviously, the Patriots, watch them all the time. So, it's awesome to say that I've seen all four teams win their championship.
Yeah,
remember them.
If you told me that at 12 years old, I would have said, nope,
no,
never happening. So it is kind of crazy to have seen all this happen. There's some other top fives for you here. Some more entertainment type ones. But first one, do you have a favorite top five TV shows?
I looked at the questions ahead of time, and I knew. So my wife would give me a hard time if I didn't say this.
Yeah.
I love, with a passion, the Golden Girls.
I don't disagree.
I can watch them in reruns. I don't know what it is. It's a calming effect. They dealt with things that we're still dealing with in the 80s that was really taboo to talk about. But it's just something that it's not real. You can just like have a calming. I don't know. It's
I know, I love it too. That's the only time I have the Hallmark Channel on. Then I'll fall asleep and there'll be some weird.
some weird movie.
Yeah.
I've had that happen before. Yeah, that I could watch that all the time. My wife gives me a hard time because all I want to do is watch old shows.
Yeah.
I'm like we watch reruns of Roseanne.
Okay.
I could watch that. Some dramas. Grew up watching The West Wing, so we rewatched that, and I'm into the political realms of things, so I enjoy that. I'm a Trekkie, so all the new Star Trek shows and Star Trek: The Next Generation and all that. So I'm not. I like things that are. You don't have to think while you're watching. You know what I mean? I think all day long. I just want something that's easy to follow and enjoy watching and not have to work watching it.
I get that. I mean, it's rare that I will, like, because I've obviously we talk about The Sopranos all the time on the show, but like I got into Ozark this time.
Yeah, a lot of people are watching that, and I've not watched 1 second of it.
You do have to pay attention, but like it's just so good. But I know what you're saying. Like, you just want something that you can relax. You kind of makes you feel. Like the Golden Girls is always gonna make you feel good.
Yeah.
And it is kind of cool to see what was going on with the times there. Top 5 favorite movies?
So I've never seen a Marvel movie.
I'm not into them either.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? The comic movies? Nope. Spider-Man, Batman, none of them. My wife again gives me a hard time. Oh, you're watching Harry Potter again?
Yeah.
Yep, I am, because I know what's going to happen. I can watch it, but not really watch it and not have to think about it. My kids love Disney movies, so I've been introducing them to the ones that were on when we were kids. I've seen Frozen about 9,000 times, but again, it's just easy. It's not. That's what they. If it's spending time with them and something they want, it's. But I would watch Sing by myself. The Lord of the Rings series and the Hobbits, and those are my kind of things. The action ones, whatever. Although today I'm distraught over this. My favorite Disney character is Winnie the Pooh, and there's going to be because his Disney's claim to that expires because you can only have a copyright for so long.
Okay.
And then it becomes open domain, and it's going to happen to Mickey Mouse in 2024. They're turning Winnie the Pooh into a horror movie.
Through Disney or
no.
So okay, I was gonna be like,
a different company is taking because it's open domain
God,
now.
Don't let Rob Zombie touch this.
And I'm like, I'm distraught over
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh becoming some problems.
I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know.
I read a whole article about it. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. And there's pictures of the set and what the characters are going to look like.
Oh wow.
I'm going to have nightmares.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to watch it.
I do want to see the one where Christopher Robin, or they real life.
Yeah. That was like a few years. It was kind of sad,
Oh,
but
was
it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I'm tired of these. Let's reboot this. Let's remake this. Like, we're out of touch that we can't come up with anything new? We gotta just redo everything?
I mean, there's certain things. I'm a big horror movie guy, so when they do reboot these things, I go, all right, yeah, you're gonna get money out of me for this, but sometimes it's just too much. I did have another top 5. I do want to get into blank versus blank, but do you have like a top 5 teaching moments, or even or your favorite teaching moment, I should say?
There's so many things that go on. It's funny, I was talking to a teacher on the way here who had one of my students in middle school, and I can just remember the struggles he had. And then she went to this program, and he's graduating, and he's going to, what's the music school?
Oh God.
We all know, the big music school.
Yeah.
Studying guitar.
Berkeley. Yeah. Justin is no.
It's not Berkeley, but there's a school for music. I don't know, but I'm like,
But it's up there.
Where this kid has come
Yeah.
from, I remember him in 5th grade, till be able to get there is just unbelievable. It's so exciting to watch. A unique part that a lot of teachers don't get that I had was I taught 1st grade for 3 years, and then I went to 5th grade. I had a lot of my kids again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In 5th grade, and to see where they were in 1st grade to the end of 1st grade is one thing, but to see them at the end of 1st grade or the beginning of 1st grade in my mind to the end of 5th grade and how they grew is just, and then there's always these little moments that I mentioned earlier where the light bulb finally goes on and you see the work you put into them really pay off. So.
No, awesome. I like that. I do think it's just a very rewarding profession. It just really is. I do want to get a blank versus blank. This is my favorite segment of the show. There's no prep for this. We're going to give you 2 things. You're going to pick one and tell us why.
Oh, geez.
More responsible for the success, and I love this. Is my favorite one to ask. More responsible for the success of the New England Patriots over the 20-year span, Belichick or Brady?
Before, I would have had a hard time saying that. I'm going as Brady. I'm watching them collapse right now around me, and then what's happening in Tampa.
But do you feel like Brady? Because I still say Belichick. Do you think Brady's gotten everything he's wanted there? Like that was like a very
in New England?
No, well he did get what he wanted in New England, not money wise. Brady wanted. Let's just say I want Antonio Brown. The Bucs say, well, that's a bad idea, but Brady wants it. He gets it.
Bruce Arians is gone because of Tom Brady. That's not. They can say whatever they want publicly. Oh, he's stepping to this and that. No. That Tom Brady told someone, I want him gone, and that's why he's gone.
I could.
It's Kyrie Irving-esque.
Yeah. I mean, Brady just won't go away.
Nope.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Just any reason why?
I prefer Coke products. I don't like Pepsi at all. I don't like the flavor, but I'm a Sprite guy, so that's Coke.
I do like Coke better. Pepsi's like almost like too sweet for me. I don't know. All right, here's a good one. Would you rather listen to Tom Petty or Prince?
Yikes. That's hard because I can think of some of their songs, and I could listen to Purple Rain and the Corvette, but then you got Free Fallin'. I'd say Tom Petty.
Okay. It's
hard.
It's funny, like Tom Petty, when I wake up in the morning sometimes, where I've been working from home now for 2 years, but I can't log into work until a certain time. And sometimes, you drive in, you get in, but now I'm just sitting at home waiting to log in. And I swear that Tom Petty comes into my head sometimes where the waiting is the hardest part.
It is. I hated working from home.
Yeah.
Because work is always looking. Is yours at least in a separate room?
Yeah, I mean, I have a room now, yeah.
So when I worked from home during the pandemic, my kids were home. So I had my desk and stuff in my living room because I needed to see where they were and what they were doing. And then I moved it to the dining room. But it was always lurking. Like it could see me from when I was sitting in my recliner. I'm like, laptop, stop looking at me. But, I'm glad to be back in the office.
Yeah, I have to imagine. I can go back, so I kind of need to because there's something about waking up in the morning and driving somewhere every day, and it just doesn't feel like you're just trapped. Like, yesterday 6:30 comes. I was supposed to have a softball game. It got canceled. I was like, no. Drove over, watched the women's team play in Greeley. Yeah. So, LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
Michael. I can't stand LeBron. He just irritates me. I don't know what it is, and maybe Michael was the same way back then, but I don't remember that. I don't know. LeBron just bothers the crap out of me.
But he does do some good things for his community.
Yeah, I was with the kids, the schooling, and the helping those kids with. Yeah, he does. I don't know enough about
Yeah.
it, other than him on the basketball court. Really,
Yeah.
he just, I don't know.
Yeah, he's yet to win that debate on this show. I think maybe only one person said LeBron's just a better athlete, which is what I truly believe. Michael was maybe the better of the winner. Here's an interesting one because this is a wrestling one, and I know you're not a big wrestling guy.
Well, when I was a kid, we used to watch WWF and WCW.
Yes.
At home, we used to have to tape it because it was on too late.
Yeah.
My last memories of it was the Wolfpack.
Yes. Oh, 98. Yes.
Back in the day, yes.
Yeah. These are two guys that have become almost bigger than wrestling. Obviously, one has been the biggest Hollywood star there is, The Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
But Hulk Hogan's also transcended. So who would you pick, Hulk Hogan or The Rock?
So Hulk Hogan, that's my childhood. He used to have action figures for him, and The Rock is now this big glamorous movie star or whatever. Maybe for the nostalgia, I'd have to pick Hogan because I can remember the yellow shorts and I don't know. It brings me back to being a kid. Where The Rock, he's there everywhere now.
Literally everywhere. Literally. We were talking about this today with some of the people that I do a podcast with. And I just said, if The Rock never hosts Saturday Night Live, I don't know if he ever becomes this mega star.
Yeah, he seems to be in everything.
He literally is. I think he's the highest paid actor in Hollywood, too. But shout out to The Rock we're getting the XFL back next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't like the logo they made, but I was enjoying it before the pandemic. I don't know if you were watching any of that.
Watched it when Vince McMahon did it the first time. Watched a little of it.
That was pretty bad.
And I watched a little of this USAFL, whatever it is.
I haven't watched any of that.
It's all right. When you have the NFL, you can't. There's no.
Yeah, I'm curious how it will do because when I was watching the XFL before the pandemic, I was like, I really just want to keep watching football games because I can just watch football.
Oh yeah.
I watch college.
I watch reruns of college.
Yeah. But now, for me, I'm curious what will happen because now I'm so into Major League Rugby. Now that it's on TV and stuff like that, I go to the games all the time. Like, am I still gonna want to watch the XFL? We'll have to see.
Yep.
All right. Did you enjoy going to Charlotte Ave more or Pennachuck?
Wow. That is a tough question. I work at Charlotte Ave when I was teaching, when I started school there, but Pennachuck was fun. I'm going to go with Pennachuck. My license plate on my vehicle is Mr. Magoo.
Oh, okay.
And I got that nickname from Mr. Staunches in English class back in 7th grade. Yeah. So I had a lot of fun in middle school. Not that it's elementary, it was elementary, but in middle school we were a little older.
Yeah.
We had more freedom, we had more things we could do. So I'll go with Pennachuck.
Staunches was... he was a great teacher, and I think he's still teaching.
He's 6th grade over at Fairgrounds now.
Is he really?
Yep.
Okay. I used to come in now. He would say my name wrong. It's Bolio, but every time I'd walk into the classroom, he'd go Bolio. Oh.
I don't think he called any child by their actual name.
No, he just whipped tennis balls at you.
The tennis balls, the wolf line. Remember the wolf line on the Andy Wolf broke the overhead projector.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
You got to, to be a middle school teacher, though, I have to say, Gary Sanchez, from what I remember, I don't know how he is now.
Yeah.
That's the best personality you could possibly have to do that job.
Yeah. Thinking back, I mentioned those two, but he would definitely be someone on that list of top 5 people that, formed my own education, but wanted to do, bring their style there. Yeah. To kids, so.
Yeah, he did a great job, and they always said about middle school and elementary, or the big thing about teaching middle school is everything you say, comment. Say something, comment. They always got something to say.
Oh yeah, they do.
All right, last question. This might be the toughest one in blank versus blank. Did you enjoy being a teacher better or being president of the teachers union better? And this is the tough one, so we're not putting your feet to the fire here.
I'm going to say president of the union. And it's not that I didn't love teaching, and I miss the kids, I miss reading to them, I miss their excitement, I miss teaching social studies and the curriculum to them. But I feel like in my job now, I can do more to support all of the students, where when I was teaching, it was my 25 or the grade level. And you know, a lot of people look at the union as, well, you just protect bad teachers. No, actually, that's not true. We do a lot to support our teachers and then the other members, the paras, the secretaries, and food service. I truly believe when you have a happier staff, you have happier kids. And our support of the staff helps support the students. And, you know, you can't solve everything with money, but no one's ever rejected a check that I've written because it came from the Nashua Teachers Union. We try to be a community player and support our schools and our staff. And so from that aspect, I think I can do more good for the school district and our kids than when I was teaching.
All right. I appreciate that answer. I know that's a tough question.
It is a tough question. You know, it depends on the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes too.
But Adam, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been great seeing
having
you.
It's having
been,
me.
You know, it's been some time. So, but anyways, everybody out there, I want you to have a great week. Keep your heads up. I know a lot of stuff happening right now, but until next week, let freedom ring.